Let's see. Oh, damn, my fucking face thing is fucked up. Bang. Anyway, let's see if we can hear it. Hello, hello. There it is. Welcome to the Barbecue Pit. Michael Lynch. We're going to be going through a preview, not predictions, but a preview of the Contender Series episode that will be on in 1 hour's time. And we'll be giving you a main card preview for UFC 252. 252 starts out with a rematch. Magomed Enklev versus Ion Cutabala. Talk about fucked up internet. Let's see. Live. Yeah, we're in it. Anyway, first fight, he's kind of faking being hurt, so the rest stopped him. A little bit his fault, just because that's not a very good tactic, I wouldn't think, to try to win a fight. But the rest fault also because he was so certainly not hurt, and he was throwing a lot of offense. He was landing majority of the punches while he was pretending to be hurt, and Enklev was missing. Now, that being said, he did lose that fight via TKO. I think he tried to overturn it and it didn't get overturned. He's 15-5-1, 4-4 in the UFC. His biggest wins are Khalil Roundtree, Grusmerhad, Antigulov, and Enrique De Silva. While Enklev is 14-1, his only loss was his UFC debut, which was a submission loss to Paul Craig. He's on a 4-fight winning streak right now, which I would say the biggest win other than Cutabala would be a decision win over Cleason Abreu. It's a hard fight to pick it because you kind of wish that the first fight went a little bit longer. You know, it could have ended the way that it did, but you wish it just went a little bit longer so you could see a little bit. In my opinion, I think Enklev was being more sharp. He was landing more precise punches. Cutabala was landing the bigger shots every now and then, but he was throwing really wild, and Enklev was being really precise. So if I have to, second round, early third round, somewhere in there. I have a connection with fucking Berserko, dude. If I did this, what about if I take the internet off of there? Does that go back to normal? Let's see. As soon as I get it here, I know that I'm back up and I can start talking again. But I don't want to fucking talk for no reason. This thing is fucking acting all stupid on me. I can see myself the fucking time. I don't know what the fuck is this thing. All out of whack. There we go. We're back. Yeah, Enklev there. John Dodson, Merab Delavici, which is a weird matchup to make. I gotta admit, I thought that they were gonna go John Dodson for Sean O'Malley instead of Merab. But of course, O'Malley got Marlon Vera. Merab's taking on John Dodson. John Dodson's 21-11 in his MMA career, never been finished. His last fight was TKO win over Jimmy Rivera, and Peter Yan is the champion at the moment. His biggest wins include TJ Dillashaw, Tim Elliott, José Formiga, Pedro Munoz, and of course Nathaniel Wood. He's nothing to play with. He's not a joke. He's very, very durable, so I wouldn't think that finishing him is going to be an easy job. Merab, on the other hand, 11-4. He's only been finished once. That was by submission by Ricky Simone. He's on a 4-fight winning streak right now, 4-2 in the UFC. His biggest wins are Rabion Stotts, and that was his last fight before he got into the UFC. Brad Katona and Casey Kenny. Hasn't really faced top competition yet, so it's hard to see, but he is a very dominant wrestler. So Dodson's got a lot on his plate. If he can stuff the takedown and keep it standing, I think Dodson's got a good chance. He comes in on a slight underdog. I think that might be because of his age and how up-and-coming Merab is. I'm biased. I'm going to take Merab just based off he's from Long Island. He trains in Long Island. I'm originally from Long Island, New York, so I'm going Merab. Junior Dos Santos versus Jorginho Rosenstreich. Junior Dos Santos is 21-7. He's on a 2-fight losing streak at the moment, losing by TKO to Francis Ngannou and then Curtis Blades. He's real in shape right now. He's posting on social media. He's got probably the best physique he's had in his entire career at this stage in his career. It's pretty impressive in my opinion. He's 15-5 via TKO or knockout, so 5 out of 7 of his losses are via TKO. 15 out of 21 of his wins via TKO. He's finished guys like Dos Santos has knocked those guys out. Rosenstreich, on the other hand, although he's 10-1 in MMA, he's only lost being to Francis Ngannou in his last fight, that knockout. He's also 76-8. God damn, with the fucking connection, man. It's gonna make me fucking snap on a motherfucker, dog. God damn. Fucking 76-8 pro kickboxer. He's got a lot of skills standing up. He can keep you at range. He's good at using his kicks for a heavyweight. Before his last knockout to Ngannou, he beat Junior Albini, Crowder, Arlovsky, and Overeem all by knockout. 9 out of 10 of his wins via knockout or TKO. Overeem, big, powerful kickboxer. I think JDS kind of continues his losing streak here. As sad as it's probably going to be, I think Rosenstruik probably knocks him out. And if he doesn't knock him out, he probably just outpoints him in kind of like a kickboxing match a little bit. Dude. Anyway, O'Malley won his contract in the Contender Series 2017. Won a decision over the UFC. He took 2 years off because he had to comes back. So hasn't really faced that top level competition. Vera, who's 15-6-1. His last fight was decision loss to Song Yadong. 5 in the UFC. 12 out of 15 of his fights are via finish. He's never been knocked out or submitted, so he's never been finished in his career. O'Malley's got his hands full. O'Malley, he's very energetic guy. He puts out a lot of input, especially early in the rounds. Flying kicks, flying knees, spinning kicks, this and that. He wastes a lot of energy. If Moyer can get him, fight actually kind of gassed against Song Yadong, which is why he lost that decision. So taking him up, got in the clinch, hit him with a strong punch. What was it? What hit him with? Punch, right? In a clinch. That knocked him out. Second fight comes. DC's beating him up again. Later rounds, third, fourth, fifth round, Stipe finally starts finding those hooks to the body, and starts slowing DC down, slowing him down, and then finally ends up getting the finish late in that second fight. 2 things to note about this third fight is that Cormier plans to retire whether he wins or loses. He's already came out and said that, and he also told Stipe, bring your wrestling shoes. So apparently he's going to try to wrestle a lot more with Stipe Miocic. The deciding factor, I think, is going to be is that the reason Stipe was able to finish DC in their second fight was because DC ended up getting tired before Stipe did because of the body shots were wearing him down. He started getting a little bit slower, and Stipe started beating him to the punch. Now, if DC incorporates his wrestling like he should and takes him down, gets Stipe tired from having to get back up, hold DC's weight, he would get Stipe tired before he got tired. And if that happens, I think it opens up more takedowns. It opens up more control time on the ground, which ultimately will open up a decision win. I'm not looking for anything exciting here in this fight. I hate to say it, but I think, Tyron Woodley, Kamaru Usman, those are guys that know what they need to do to win the fight, and they're going to go in there and do it. And if it's grab you and hold you down and get you tired and just hold you there, that's what it's going to be. And I think if that's what it comes down to with Cormier, he's willing to do that just to win the championship and retire into the sunset with the belt around his waist. I'm going to go DC. I see way too many paths to his victory, whereas Stipe kind of has to start a certain game plan and then change his game plan halfway through because of his lack of, superiority where it comes to wrestling and striking and speed and things like that. So he's got to switch his game plan on the go. If you're a betting person, I would definitely go DC. I wouldn't try to go underdog there, but I would not be surprised if Stipe could pull off another knockout if he's able to stick to a certain game plan in the beginning, try to stay on his feet, and then later on in the fight starts changing the game plan, and whether it's going to leg kicks or going to body, those hooks to the body again, or just killing them with the jab or whatever it is, just switching it up and being able to beat Daniel in 2 different sections of the fight, I would say. I wouldn't be surprised, but I do got Daniel Cormier in that fight. Jim Miller versus Vince Pichel, Ashley Yoder versus Livia Souza, Chris Dawkins, I think brother of Kyle Dawkins, making his UFC debut against Parker Porter, Felice Herrig versus Verena Jardunia, Herbert Burns versus Daniel Pineda, TJ Brown versus Daniel Chavez, George Gonzalez versus Isaac Villanueva, I think, rounds out that UFC 252 prelims. Contender series that we're about to watch. First fight, Joe Pfeiffer versus Dustin Stouflas. Pfeiffer 7-1, number one middleweight in Pennsylvania. 6 out of 7 of his wins via finish. His only one loss was via submission. Stolz 12-1, number one fighter in Western Europe, number one fighter in Germany. His only one loss was a decision. He's never been finished. That should be a good fight. At middleweight, I hate going in before, you try to predict who's going to win the contract, who's going to do this. Nah, fuck that. I'm just going to give you guys a rundown of each guy's kind of record, where they train at, how they're ranked up, kind of where they're living at, and let you guys decide, and then we're not going to watch together, but in about an hour the fights will be on, and we'll witness what's going to happen. But Brady Hung versus Adrian Yanez at bantamweight. Brady's 11-1, fights at a Dragon House in San Francisco. Number 5 bantamweight in California. His only loss was a TKO loss to Martin Day. 10 out of 11 of his wins will be a finish. So a lot of finishes we got here. Adrian Yanez is 10-3, fights at a Metro Fight Club in Houston, Texas. Number 5 bantamweight in Texas. So Texas versus California. Both guys ranked number 5. He's got split decision losses to Domingo Pilate and Miles Johns, which take up 2 out of 3 of his losses. Big. Those are big because those are, guys that are already in the UFC, guys that have fought in the UFC, guys that have experience. Those are 2 out of 3 of his losses. That means he's fighting high-level competition early in his career. 7 out of 10 of his wins via finish, more finishes. Vanessa Demolopoulos versus Corey McKenna. 5-1 is Demolopoulos' Black House in Columbus, Ohio, is where she trains. She's number 16, 115. What's 115? Strawweight in the United States. She's 6-1 as an amateur. Only loss was to Caitlin Chikadian as an amateur. She's 5-1 as a pro, with her only loss being to Estelle Esquivel at LFA 52. Corey McKenna is 4-1. Trains the Team Alpha Male. 3 out of 4 of her wins are via finish. She normally catch fights in Cage Warriors. She's a Welsh fighter, and she's the number 3 strawweight in the United Kingdom and Ireland. So, United Kingdom, Ireland versus United States. TJ Laramie versus Daniel Swan at featherweight. Laramie 11 in Canada, number 2 featherweight in Canada. He's 8 out of his 11 wins are via finish. 2 out of 3 of his losses via TKO. Both were to Alex Morgan. Split decision loss to Vince Murdoch in his 4th pro fight. And he also has a win over Charles Jourdain. So he's also another guy that's been fighting UFC level competition, and he's ready to make this jump right now. Daniel Swan is a 30-fight veteran, 29-1. Fights at a Warrior camp in Spokane, Washington. He's got losses to Julian Erosa, King of the Cage, and Alex De Silva in Brave FC. 17 out of his 20 wins are via finish. He's got 12 submissions, 5 knockouts. And he's the number 3 featherweight in China. So China versus Canada. This is from top to bottom probably one of the more entertaining contender series lineups that we've seen. Main event at middleweight: Anthony Adams versus Impa Kazunagi. Adams 8-1 is number 1 middleweight in Colorado. 8 out of 9 of his finishes. 8 out of 9 of his wins are via finish. Or 8 out of 9 of his fights are finishes. Hi, what's up, Pro Pixel? He's only been to a decision 1 time in his entire career. He only has 1 TKO. Oh, Jesus. All right, I'll go back. He only has 1 finish in his career. 8 out of 9 of his fights, of his 9 pro fights, 8 of them have went to decision. His only 1 TKO win was to Josh Craven. LFA 57, January 2019. That was his last fight. Impa Kazunagi 6-0, 5'11", 26 years old, where Anthony Adams is 6'1", 32 years old. All 6 of his pro fights were all in 2019. They were all wins. He got a decision over Callan Hill in the last Contender Series last year. That was his last fight. His next fight, 1 year later, we'll be fighting on the Contender Series again in the main event slot. The biggest difference, I think, here in these guys, because they're both, 9 fights, 6 fights, up and coming prospects. The biggest thing I think this is going to come down to is Kazunagi fighting at Gym O in Charlotte, North Carolina, whereas Anthony Adams fights at Elevation, or he trains at Elevation in Colorado, in Denver, Colorado. So he trains with guys like Justin Gaethje. We could pull it up right here. We could pull up Gym O. Gym O, Tapology. Gym O, Charlotte. And see. Because, you hate to say it, but like how much of how good you're going to be is based off of who you have there to train with. It's I guess it's a horrible way to look at it, but you can only get as good as your opponent's training with fucking Justin Gaethje and fucking Kamaru Usman champions. It's hard. It's just at that point, if you're gonna get the upper hand, North Carolina. Oh, they got a couple. They got mad good guys that train here. Hey, good guys. Joe Solik don't train there fucking full time, but they got Joseph Solik there, Justine Kish, fucking Ricky Rainey, Brian Barberena sometimes, but I know Barberena be in Spartanburg a lot. Scott Holtzman, I don't think that's his primary gym either. John Salter, I know that's not his primary gym. Either way, I mean, some good guys. That's it for this week, guys. What's next week? Let's see. I think it's going to be Munoz versus Edgar. August 22nd. Just get early insight. Angela Hill, Michelle Waterson's supposed to be on that. Daniel Rodriguez, Takashi. I love for the guys around here, man. The Charlotte guys, I'm rooting for you. In this fight, I tell you, I'm going to be standing up rooting for Impa Kazunagi later tonight. And I hope everybody around us does the same. I hope we can all promote and try to root for guys that are in our area, and lift each other up. But